Wakairi! Welcome back to my channel, Made Between the Pages. My name is Taylor, and today we have an abnormal intro! So, I have had my first experience of losing a shit ton of footage that I filmed. Yay! I feel like that's kind of like a YouTube rite of passage to just lose a bunch of shit that you've done. So, now that we've done that, let's not do that again. But because of that, I wanted to refilm my intro because I lost my intro and a couple of these like smaller clips that I had filmed for the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to film them all now outside because I can't be bothered to set up the whole ring light thing before work. It's a beautiful day. I got some of my plants behind me. I've got my Chill Sailor Moon shirt on, some green tea, and we're just gonna chat. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear people outside. I live in an apartment complex and it's a beautiful day, so there are a lot of people out and about. You know, how dare they live their lives. But if you can hear them in the background, you know, sorry about that. Well, is now really the time? Do you have to be cleaning your porch right now? Just sip some tea and wait. So this video is my May TBR, which includes the Asian readathon that Read with Cindy is hosting. I'm excited to talk about all these different books. I've got some that I'm really hyped for that I'm going to read this month, so let's get started. If you guys like this setup, I could do this setup at other times. Let me know down below what you think of me being outdoors. It's kind of refreshing, not gonna lie. My battery died, so that's great. Sorry if something is moved around, but we're reset, we're recharged, so let's do this. This is going to be an interesting TBR because I don't have any of these physically yet, because book depositories shipping is glacial. So I'm waiting for a couple books, but even at that point I'll only have a few physically, so there'll be a lot of pictures up over here. The first couple books that I'm going to talk about from my TBR are going to be the books I'm going to read for the Asian readathon. The first prompt for the Asian readathon is read any book by an Asian author. So for this one, I'm going to go with The Sword of KAIGEN by M.L. Wang. She is Chinese American. And this book has gotten amazing reviews all across... Oh! My poster just fell off the wall. Anyway, as I was saying, this book has been recommended all over BookTube in like the fantasy genre community, and I have heard nothing but amazing things about this. So I don't know much about it, but I believe it's about a woman who was a warrior and has kind of retired from that, so now she's a mom or something like that. But there are two nations at war, and it is supposed to be representative of real world Asian nations, I believe. Korea, China, and Japan. So maybe it's three nations at war, and she kind of gets called back into the line of duty, is what I know about it so far. But it was in my 5-star predictions video because the synopsis and the hype around it just seems like something I would really, really enjoy. So I'm gonna get to that one this month. Prompt number 2, read a book with an Asian author or character that you can relate to. So for this one, I'm going to be reading Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata, and she is Japanese. The way I relate to her is in two ways. One, I'm a woman and she is also a woman. And I live in Japan and so does she. And this book is about, I believe, Sayaka herself. And she's in her 30s and she works at a convenience store in Japan as like kind of the main staff there. And typically in Japan, work culture is very stratified, is that the right word? It's very rigid, so you move up as you get older. It is expected. And she kind of hasn't moved up in the ranks in her job, and she doesn't necessarily want to. And that's quite rare in Japanese society. And I'm really interested to see her perspective on things, why she's happy where she is, you know? And I think there's a lot to be learned from taking joy from what you do in life and not necessarily needing to progress forward. So I'm really interested to read this book. Hey guys, Casual Outside Taylor back here. So I also forgot to mention for this prompt that I am also going to read the second book in Tomo-chan wa Ononoko. This is a manga that I've been reading on my channel. I read the first one last month, and this month I'm going to read the second one. So this is a Japanese manga, and it's about a girl named Tomo-chan, this girl here, who confesses to her childhood best friend, who is not pictured here, but his name is Jun, and then he immediately friend zones her. So it's kind of like a romantic slapstick comedy about her and him and their development, their relationship, and it's also like a slice of life comedy, so it's like between Tomo-chan and a bunch of her friends as well. So it's a really, really cute manga, and I can't wait to read the second one. This is in Japanese, so if you've watched my channel, you know that I'm working on increasing my reading level of Japanese. I speak it very well, but I want to be able to read Japanese novels one day. So I'm reading some manga in Japanese every month. Prompt number 3. Read a book with an Asian author or character who is different from you. So for this one, I'm going to read The Steel Crow Saga by Paul Kruger. Paul Kruger is Filipino-American, and this book was also in my 5-star predictions tag video, and it's been shipped to me, not shipped. It's been advertised to me as Pokemon, but with spirit guides or spirit, like, animal characters, kind of like companions, and that's all I needed to hear. Like, I'm so interested. And I've heard from a lot of people, it's just a really fun ride. So I'm really excited to get to this one. Prompt number 4 is read a book recommended by an Asian. So for this one, I'm actually going to do 2. The first one is the one recommended by Cindy in her video, and it's The Boat. It's a webcomic written by Matt. Not even going to try that. This wonderful person. He's Vietnamese, and Cindy said that it provides insight into the struggles that Vietnamese people face when they're trying to come over to America. And that story sounds really intriguing to me. Plus, I've never read a webcomic by a Vietnamese artist, so I'm really excited to read that one. The second book I'm going to do for this prompt is Funny in Farsi by Firoze Dumas. This wonderful person. And this book was recommended to me by Poraline. I apologize if I'm not saying your name right, but she is a booktuber on here who's part of the international booktube community, and she is from Iran, and she recommended this book in her Asian Readathon video, and it's about a woman who goes from Iran to America. I believe she lives in California, and it's her documenting her experiences and what she's learned along the way. And I love stories about people who go from one country to another permanently. I'm very interested in that, as I may end up staying in Japan, who knows? So I love seeing people's perspectives on that type of lifestyle. And I've never read a book, I don't believe, by an Iranian person. So this could be a first for me, and I'm really excited to get started, so thanks for recommending it. I'll link her down below. Hey, Casual Taylor back once again. I also want to mention that I will not be doing the group read, which is Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng, because I've already read that book. And while it was wonderful, I don't necessarily have a desire to reread it. I think once was good enough for me. So I'm not going to be participating in that part of the readathon. But I know that there is a watchathon for the Netflix version of this show, which I would be interested in participating in. But I'm not very good at keeping up with TV shows, so I'm not gonna promise anything. But if the stars align, I may be taking part in the watchathon. That concludes the Asian readathon portion of my TBR. So I have a couple other books, I have like 5 or 6 other books that I would love to get to this month, but we're already 3 days into this month. As you know, we'll try to make up the time. But if by miracle I'm able to get through all of these books, I would love to. The first one from the rest of my list is Shorefall by Robert Jackson Bennett. If you've seen any of my videos, you know how excited I am for this book. It is the second book in the Founders trilogy, the first book being Foundry Side, which is behind me here. And I have ordered it. I pre-ordered it from Book Depository, and it said it shipped what feels like years ago. It's been about 2 weeks and it still hasn't arrived. And Book Depository is almost always glacial with their shipping, but this is extra long. Of course, because of the pandemic going around, that's to be expected, but I am so impatient because I really want to read that book. So as soon as it gets here, I'm gonna be cracking that one open. The next one on this list is Red Sister by Mark Lawrence from Book of the Ancestor. So I also ordered this one and possibly the entire inheritance cycle. Where did that come from? Book of the Ancestor trilogy from Book Depository. So I've heard nothing but fantastic hype about these, and I broke my rule of reading a book before I buy it in this case because I can't imagine I'm not gonna love it. And I also did order Girl and the Stars, so I can kind of binge the whole thing when it gets here. We'll see when it arrives, but I will be doing a buddy read with another booktuber when this book does arrive, so I'll be sure to announce that before we devour it. I would also like to read Rage of Dragons. This is one that I was hoping to read for the Owls as like a add-on for a certificate, but I didn't get around to it. But my desire to read Dragon Fantasy has not decreased. Have you guys ever done that where you really want to read a book or a type of book and you have access to that type of book, but you don't pick it up? Like, I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. Like, I have Priory of the Orange Tree behind me. I could just pick that up and read a Dragon Fantasy right now, but I'm not for some reason. Does anyone else do that? But I do really want to read Rage of Dragons, so I've put this on my TBR for this month. Hopefully I can get it from my library or pick it up somehow, because I really want to see what all of the hype is about with that one. I would also really love to get to the 5th season, the first book in the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. N.K. Jemisin has been on my list of authors to read for so long now, and I'm ashamed that I haven't just done it. This is also in my 5-star predictions video, and I really want to read that this month. I believe that my library in Japan does have a copy of this, and they may be reopening in May just to take books out, like, so you can kind of just grab one and leave. So if that is the case, I would be able to get the physical copy of this, which I would prefer because I'm not a huge fantasy audiobook person. I can do it, but especially in the beginning with the world building and the intricacies of magic systems being set up, audiobooks and I don't really get along. So I'm hoping that I can get this one physically. The next one is one that Katie from Brightness Katie Reads has convinced me to pick up, and that is Frostheart. I don't have the author's name, but up over here. It's a middle grade, and I don't know much about it, but I know that it's like a middle grade adventure with magic and things like that. And she's really recommended it a lot on her channel and said it's heartwarming and light. And I think in the midst of some of these heavier fantasy books, I could really use that lighthearted aspect. So if I have time, I'll be picking this one up. Okay, the last two, one of them is a shame for me. I'm doing something on my channel called the Retro Reads BookTube Challenge, where I put the names of, I think it was 15 books that were really popular on BookTube back in the day before I was even in the community at all, even as a lurker. And all of these books date from before 2015 and were really popular in the community. And every month I'm going to pick one of these books and read it and see if I enjoy it as much as everyone else enjoyed it at the time. So the one for last month was Name of the Wind. I did get it from my library. I did not finish it in time and had to return it. Yay! So, the library is closed at the moment, so I'm not able to get it out again. But I will be reading that in May because I refuse to get behind on this challenge. So, the Name of the Wind is on my list for my TBR list for May, as well as one more book that I'm gonna pick out of this cup. If you'd like to see the full list of the books that I have in here, I will link the video where I introduce the challenge and talk about the books in it. I'll do a tag. That's not a tag, I keep saying tag. What's this called? I can't even get the angle right. This thing. Card! That's it. Put a card up here and I will link it in the description down below. Please go check it out. I'm really excited about this challenge. And I also said that if there's a book from that video you really want me to read, you can let me know in the comments on that video and I'll put 2 slips of paper with that book's name on it in here. So there's more of a chance that I'll be picking it up to read it. Let's see which one we get today. All right. This month, I will be reading The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. Okay, you know, I'm not too upset by this one. I have heard some good reviews of this. I'm not sure the page count, because I've got a lot of pages this month already, so hopefully it's not too massive of a tome. But yeah, that's what I'll be reading this month. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this book. Have you read it back in its BookTube heyday? Did you not like it? Do you have no interest in this whatsoever? I'm pretty sure this had a adaptation, didn't it? Or maybe it's coming? Well, I don't know. But I don't know much about the synopsis of this, but I will be picking this up. That concludes my official May TBR of 11 books. Yikes. Wish me luck! If I do a buddy read of Red Sister with one of my BookTube friends, which we're planning on doing this month, I may attempt my first reading vlog. I'm not promising that, but I may take the leap and go for it if we end up doing the buddy read. Come on, book depository shipping. Come on. So let me know down below, what are your May TBRs? Are you joining a readathon, the Asian readathon? I know there's a bunch of other ones, the Believe-a-thon, a lot going on this month. Let me know what you're reading and what you think about what I'm reading. I'll see you in the comments down below. But for now, I'm gonna head out. Jane!